All right, we are live on Dodgers Digest. This is the Monday morning live show. Of course, it's Labor Day. Hopefully, everybody's having a great Labor Day today. I'm Mike Nelson. I'm here with Brad J. How you doing today, Brad?
I'm doing good. Good. It's a good day after yesterday.
Yeah, no doubt about that. It was a huge win for the Dodgers. A game that they once again, Tanner Scott, once again blew the game for us. But Will Smith, the best hitting catcher in baseball, hits a walk-off home run. I don't know what it is about those Sunday afternoon games, Brad, but we always have all these like crazy walk-offs. It's kind of funny on those Sunday
And
games.
it was nice to see because if you look at what Will Smith has gone through, more recent look, yeah, he's been carrying the team, but you know as well as I know, like what is it, the last 10, 15 games, he has not been the same. So for him to just do that on what was that, the second pitch of the bottom of the ninth, that's just what a way to end it. What a way to end that 2 game skid. Meanwhile, Padres lose two against the Twins. Like, how funny is that? Like,
Yeah, I mean, playing against Minnesota, a team that's out of the playoffs completely,
yep.
basically going through a rebuild. And yeah, I mean, San Diego loses 2 out of 3. They got destroyed yesterday too, like 7-2.
Yeah.
Dodgers are ahead 2 games on the National League West. And yeah, I mean, San Diego's not looking too good right now. The Dodgers aren't looking too good either. I mean, they did sweep Cincinnati earlier this week, but
Yeah.
they lost against Arizona, who lost the series. They only scored 1 run in 2 games in the first 2 games of the series. What are your thoughts, Brad, on the Dodgers offense? It seems like it's still not back to normal yet.
Yeah. Lack thereof. I mean, yeah, this last game was something, but then you look at the last couple of games, it's like 3 hits here. What was it? 5 hits, like 1 run, 2 games, like just one after another. But I do want to say this though. I was guilty of watching the beginning of the Padre game before the Dodgers came on yesterday,
Oh,
and
really?
when they went down like by 2, I was like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I
So
mean you
guilty of
have to.
that.
You have to
Yeah,
watch the other games right now because it's so close. It's now September. It's the last month of the season,
yeah,
and
this is it.
yeah, this is it. So I mean, obviously we're gonna need San Diego to keep losing. The Dodgers. Hopefully they could keep getting wins right off today. Big, really much needed off day, but they're gonna be going on the road against 3 in Pittsburgh, 3 against Baltimore, against teams that are not going to the playoffs. But the way the Dodgers are playing right now, I mean, you have to feel a little bit worried about this road trip. What do you think about this road trip coming up?
The one thing that I look at that it just kind of glares at me. It doesn't scare me. So it's like, oh, this really makes me nervous. Is the 7 games that the Dodgers have against the Giants in that
Oh
stretch with
yeah, that's
25
right.
games left.
Yeah,
7 of
it's a
those,
lot. Yeah.
30 some odd percent of your games are against the Giants, who aren't going to be in the playoffs, who would love to just cause some damage. So that doesn't look good on that side of it. But then you look at the Padres, they got 9 games against solid teams at the remainder of their schedule. So I think they have the tougher schedule than the Dodgers do going into the the last 25 games left in the season.
Yeah, I think yeah, that's safe to say. San Diego does have a tougher schedule than the Dodgers do. I mean, this week the Dodgers are
Yeah.
playing against non-playoff teams. They got to get some wins here
Yeah, I mean, you got the only team. I mean, look, the Dodgers have to face the Phillies at some point, and
in 2 weeks.
that's the yep, that's the 3 games of a contender that's in the mix that they'll face out of all these teams that they're playing. Like I said, 7 against the Giants, 3 against Pittsburgh, which we're about ready to start, 3 against Baltimore, 3 against Seattle, 3 against Colorado, and 3 against Arizona again. Which I hate Arizona coming into play again, but yeah, we're going to see that. But the Dodgers have good records against the better teams and worse records against the crappy teams. So that doesn't bode well when you start to look at what the trend is, what have they been doing so far. And that's what you'd like to see them change is like, look, you've shown us that you can beat the better teams, but you got to be able to beat the sub 500s too.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah. I mean, the Dodgers got to get their wins against everybody, especially this late in the year
Yeah.
when it's so close. I mean, unfortunately, it is close. I wish the Dodgers were up like 10, 12 games, but it's only a 2 game lead, and now it's like we were talking about last week. I mean, they're still third in the National League right now in terms of the seeding. Right now they'd still be playing that wild card round. If they keep losing games, even if they win the division, it's going to start to get farther and farther from Philadelphia because number one looks unlikely now. Milwaukee, looks like they're set in number one. Number two is
I would say so.
Yeah, number two is going to be the one spot the Dodgers can get to. So I think it's very important for the Dodgers to get to number two. I've said this before. I think the Dodgers really got to stay out of the wild card run. I mean, if they do end up in the wild card run, it's not the end of the world because they do have all their pitchers. It definitely confirms that Shohei Ohtani will be getting a playoff start if that happens. So I don't know about what the fans think about that. You know, you're going to get Ohtani starting a game if the Dodgers fall in that wild card run. It's guaranteed.
But 5 innings.
Well, yeah, but still, getting a playoff start. I mean, it would be history made. Think about it. History made. Yeah. Shohei Ohtani, a two-way player, starting a playoff game. Babe Ruth never did that.
Yeah, it's definitely going to happen. So you're talking about the records, Brewers 85 and 53, Dodgers 78 and 59. Yep, that's not going to happen. Also, what's not going to happen is a 100-win season for the Dodgers either.
That's wild, man. That's crazy.
With 25, you would think with 25 games left, you would be in striking distance, but they would have to basically win.
But isn't that kind of crazy? The Dodgers not winning 100 games with all the players they have.
Yeah, it is crazy. But what offense shows up sometimes? It's like, hey, how about why don't we give some props to starting pitching? Starting pitching has kept the Dodgers with a chance in all these games that they lost. Those two that they lost to, starting pitching was still good with the big three all the way through, and that's not including Kershaw.
Yeah, I mean, well, no, I think the pitching, everybody's coming back, and you have to feel good about what the Dodgers have when it comes to starting pitching. But the bullpen's still a big concern, and offensively, the Dodgers don't look the same this year. They're not at all what they were last season, which, I mean, you can't, like I said this at the beginning of the season, it was going to be very hard for the Dodgers to kind of replicate last year's offensive output. I mean, it was a historic output, and I think a lot of fans expected the same, like they were going to roll it back and do exactly the same this year and score all those runs again. And I didn't think it was possible. And I think we talked about this at the beginning of the year, Brad.
We did talk about this, and I think you were talking. People were predicting all these big wins, and I was not saying that they were going to win an extraordinary amount of games. I figured it would be close because they would cruise towards the end. So that's not exactly what happened. But I got to read this. Brian Tetchy said he sends a message. Lately, the Dodgers are 11-4. This is what I was talking about right here. The Dodgers are 11-4 against teams over 500, which is great, but 6-10 against teams that are under
crazy.
500. That goes back to you're gonna play up for the big teams, but you're gonna play down for the sub 500 teams. That's a good point right there.
Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense. That's a good stat there though from Brian. But yeah, I mean, 11-4 against the teams that are good. 6-10. Yeah, that's got to change this week because Baltimore and Pittsburgh are under 500, both of those teams. So got to get.
And then once tomorrow's expanded rosters, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yep. So tomorrow you get the extra pitcher, the extra position player, basically.
Want to say hi to Craig, who always tunes in. Thanks a lot, Craig.
Craig.
He said Scott has blown a bunch of saves for Yamamoto. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, every time it seems like Yoshinobu Yamamoto's pitching, Tanner Scott's got to screw it up for him late in the game.
Man, I called that without calling that, watching that game.
Yeah.
It's like the one thing I said when it got to that point was like, just not a home run. Just not a home run. And crack, home run.
Well, it's funny because they had a mound visit right before the Carroll home run. I mean, they spoke to him, and it seemed like it didn't help at all. I mean, it was a terrible pitch that Scott left right down the middle.
Right down the middle.
It was just a bad pitch.
That was a piece of steak right there, right down in the middle, just right in your wheelhouse, and he did what he was supposed to do with it. So
yeah, just a bad pitch, but the Dodgers still win the game, which is an important thing.
Yeah.
LC says those non-playoff teams are the ones that beat us all the time. Yeah, I mean definitely, I would say so. And then
that's why I keep saying, dude. That's why I keep bringing up the whole Giants thing. 7 against the Giants, and they're gonna totally want to be the spoilers in this situation. So no matter what, that one just glares at me because it's the one team you face the most amount of times in that 25-game span to end the season.
Yeah, that's crazy that we got 7 games against the Giants. I mean, every time the Dodgers and Giants play, which is for me, is the Dodgers' biggest rival, historic rival, right? They're always like close games, right? I mean, it's always like close games. It's rare that you have a blowout when the Giants and Dodgers play. And of course, next weekend they'll be going to San Francisco. So yeah, that's going to be hopefully
back and forth.
going to be we'll see where the standings are next week though. I mean, there's still a lot of games to go before next weekend. And the way San Diego is going, it looks like they're going to keep losing. The Dodgers just got to take care of business this week. I mean, if they win 5-6 games this week, I think we're going to be in a good position next weekend.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, they're their own. They're their own. They control their own destiny. Basically, you just got to keep winning. You're supposed to win series, so you're supposed to take 2 or 3, and that's not what they did against a sub-5 team when you're playing against the Diamondbacks. So that sucks that they did that. But now you got to shake that off. You had a good, walk off. That's got to feel good. You're going against you're going against the Pirates. That's a team you definitely are the favorite of, right? There's a team that you should be able to take. The weather's absolutely going to be epic out there. I think it's like 75, 77, the high temperature. Great weather for Kershaw. You don't want him out on a super hot day to start things off, but he's going to be on the mound. And the way he's pitched, I think as long as he can continue to do what he does, the Dodgers can get a head start and just get off with a victory right off the bat. That's important. I think a little momentum right there.
Yeah, and I think the Dodgers got to think we got to try to get Game 1 and Game 2 of this series because for Game 3, the Pirates have Paul Skeens going, right? And as we know, Paul Skeens is one of the best pitchers in baseball. You don't want to go into that series losing the first 2 or splitting the first 2 because that's going to be a tough game, right? Paul. I know the Dodgers got Blake Snell going, but I mean, Paul Skeens is one of the best in baseball.
That's a 0-1 game right there.
Yeah.
That's a 1-0.
Pitching
that's
duel.
A 0-1. That's what kind of game it is. But here's the deal. Sunday, I mean, I haven't checked as of today, but Sunday was showing like 65, 70% chance of rain on that Thursday. So.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
Maybe that's a change that could affect things too as well because weather can play a part. It can move in that quick.
Yeah, especially in that part of the country.
Yeah.
And if that game does get pushed back to later in the night, right? Because I don't think they'll not play the game at all because it's too late in the season. They'll probably play 3 or 4 hours later. Then Paul Skeens will probably get scratched, right? And Blake Snell too. But the Dodgers would definitely take advantage of that. I mean, think of a Pittsburgh Pirates bullpen game. I mean, you got to think the Dodgers have the upper hand there.
Yeah, you definitely got to think that. How about Yamamoto, though, lately? What do you think about him, the way he's been with the splitter?
Well, like I said this at the beginning of the year, Yoshinobu Yamamoto is the Dodgers' ace, right? He's the best pitcher for the Dodgers. Despite all the acquisitions in the offseason, this guy won the World Series for the Dodgers last year as a rookie in baseball. And this year, he continues to confirm that he is the number 1 starter for the Dodgers. He's going to get the ball in Game 1 of the NLDS when we get there because I'm confident the Dodgers will be getting to the NLDS, and he's going to pitch that Game 1 Game 1, of course, of the wild card round. But he's going to get the ball there. So I think this year he stayed healthy the whole year. He's been great, and you got to be feeling good about what he's doing, right? Because like you said, he's also using the fastball a lot more too. What was it last weekend? He was throwing a bunch of fastballs against San Diego. It was like he was clocking in 97, 98 with every pitch. I mean, it's definitely. I like that. I think that if he uses the fastball more, he could keep his arm, longer in baseball. Because that's, I mean, if you don't have a fastball, you're gonna get hurt. I mean, we've seen that. If you're just throwing junk out there, you're not gonna last. I mean, that's what happened to Dustin May. That's what happened to a lot of these guys.
Unless you have really good placement like Clayton Kershaw. Look, he doesn't have.
Well, but he had a fastball earlier in his career.
He did.
That's why he's.
But he had to adjust his game.
That's true.
The fastball had no more velocity to it, so it was like, okay, let me rely on the other pitches that I'm good at. If you don't change, like if you're a fastball guy and you start seeing the velocity dip, and you still count on the exact way you would get guys out earlier is how you try to get guys out now, and your game has changed, you got to change your game to adapt. And that's one thing he's done so good as adapted. Because, I mean, what is he throwing now? I mean, is it 89?
Basically.
I mean, is it not 90, 91 maybe?
Yeah.
The most?
Mainly 89.
But he's using his curve so much better than he did back when he had a better fastball, is what I think.
Yeah, no, Kershaw's definitely adjusted his game, and he's looked really good this season. And looking forward to seeing the playoffs, right? Which is when it's going to be super important. And Kershaw is going to get a start most
Yeah.
likely, right? Because we got Ohtani, we got a Snell, we got Glasnow, and then I would assume it's a Kershaw after that, right? I mean, I would think number 4 starter if we're already thinking playoffs.
25 games left. I mean, what is that? If you're going to rotate that through,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Is that, like you said, 4 starts? Is that what that is per guy right now?
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. I think those 3 guys get the edge over Kershaw, and then the number 5 guy has got to be Ohtani if we need him.
Yep, it was kind of weird they had Sheehan in the bullpen.
Yeah,
kind of hanging out yesterday. Like there was a plan that if they needed to bring him in for longer relief, they were going to do that. So, what does that mean? Were they going to have him miss a start because he's been starting? So,
yeah,
I wonder what the plan is there to test him out of the bullpen. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be an interesting option for sure. I think the Dodgers definitely need somebody else in the bullpen, which they unfortunately did not acquire anybody of note at the trade deadline, and also nobody of note really at the waiver wire. So I guess they're going to have to try to go look within, right? I mean, guys that they can use on the playoff roster, because as we know, like you were talking about a few minutes ago, the rosters are going to expand, but a lot of these guys are not going to be eligible for the playoff roster, right? So you need guys that are going to be eligible for the playoff roster, and that's going to be important.
And I'm glad you brought it up. I saw just online that Andrew Heaney.
Yeah.
They just signed this left-hand pitcher, Andrew Heaney. And John Heyman says that he is signed in time to be playoff eligible.
Right before the playoff. Okay.
Yeah. So he became available. I mean, he's got a 5.39 ERA. He's going to start with the OKC, but he is eligible, and he's a left-hander. So I don't know how much they're serious about using him or what they're to do. But Stewart, there's no guarantee that he's even going to come back. They have not said yes or no yet, but, he had trouble again and then had another cortisone shot. That didn't help. And then so he's kind of resuming again. So there might be no return at all for Stewart, so for the Dodgers. So not only did they not make that big trade that you're talking about, then the trade they did get is probably could be gone for the season, rest of the year, and for playoffs as well. So that would suck.
Yeah, so Andrew Heaney gained his 3rd stint with the Dodgers, right? Because I got to remember he was traded to the Dodgers way back, and I'm reading about it right now. Traded to the Dodgers back in 2014. Right? 2014, then of course he never played for the Dodgers. Ended up on the Angels, and then of course played for the Dodgers in 2022 for a season. And so now he's back, right? So we'll see. Of course, Andrew Heaney is at the back end of his career. He's 34 years old, and I would assume Heaney is going to be out of the bullpen, right? I mean, I can't see him getting a start here, being a starting pitcher for the Dodgers.
100%. No way. There's no room at that starting spot right there. So, kind of like why we let go of Walker Buehler, right? I mean, I don't know if you saw Walker going to the Phillies. That's a big story. But what do you think about Walker Buehler? There was a lot of fans last week saying we should sign Walker. I said no way. But what do you think of the Dodgers passing up on Walker? Good idea. Walk away from Walker. No, seriously, there's no need for that. That magic has come. It's gone. He was the guy he was. They needed him to do what he did. He hasn't been that good this year. Not good enough for Boston just to walk away. I don't know who eats that whole salary, though.
Boston does. No, Boston.
The whole thing,
thing, yeah. They cut him.
So you'd rather pay that than even take a chance to have him even there at all.
Well, they had to because they're going to the playoffs, Boston. I mean, it was a great move by them.
But that's a lot of money, dude, for what is it, 5 ERA, 5 or something?
Yeah, $20 million. They of course they'd already paid a lot of that contract, but only a month left in the season. But still, they had to get that off of the books and try to. I believe they signed some other guy to replace him. But what I don't really like about this is that Walker is going to the Phillies, right? And that's of course a rival for the Dodgers. That's what I don't like about this at all.
Can't like it.
I don't like it, Brad. I don't want to see Walker in a playoff game coming out of the bullpen against one of the Dodgers, because he knows the Dodgers too well. I mean, he played his whole career for LA, and
Yeah.
he's obviously going to have the upper hand if he's facing the Dodgers in the playoffs.
I'm sure that went into that pickup too as well. I'm sure the Phillies looked at it as well. Hey, look what we could do here. Like he could really be of help to us against the Dodgers. So I could see there a little planning. All right, you better read some, dude. There's a ton
Yeah, it's a
of
whole
that
bunch, especially from LC. I want to thank
Fire
LC
off.
for the comments here this morning.
What up,
I
LC?
like his last comment. LC saying the damn umpires hurt Yoshi all the time. What do you think about
Yeah,
the umpires always hurting Yoshi?
I know. Bring back the scoring from or the strike zone from spring training. Bring that back because
Yeah, the ABS
They
system.
are missing. Yeah, they're missing stuff, dude. They're missing stuff left and right. And sometimes it happens where, and on both sides, not just on one side, but they're missing. They're missing calls, and sometimes it's by a lot. And you're just like, how how is that even possible? And I feel like he doesn't get the call sometimes because he has so much movement on his ball.
Yeah, I think it's time to get some technology here when it comes to balls and strikes, but it's going to happen, right? Because it's already happened in spring training,
Yeah.
so it's going to happen soon. We got Raider Man. What's up, Raider Man? He's saying late to the party. Whatever I missed is nothing compared to the lack of offense lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a lot of offense, but yeah, I mean, I think the
Yeah,
Dodgers.
that hurts.
It's offense right now is slow. There's not a lot of runs coming in, but you have to still feel confident that something is going to change, right? Because we have too many names for the Dodgers to not switch it around.
Right?
Yeah.
At some point, it's like, come on, something's got to change. But how about Tanner Scott? Can we talk about that?
Yeah, let's talk about him. How's this guy still on the team, man?
Oh my goodness! Just like, that's just so frustrating to see. And even though it ended up all good in the end, it's just like, I think it was like Oral Hershiser was saying, like, is he in the ninth no matter what? Is there no guy after him because he's the guy, the last guy of the year, depending on to do something? Is he that guy? And it's like, 3-run shot? No, he's not that guy. Is he that guy? I mean, is he middle relief? Is he your closer for what he signed? Do you throw him into that if he continues to, like, it's one thing giving up a base hit, but it's a whole nother, a 3-run shot, the one thing you don't give up at that point. So, and I don't know.
Well, the Dodgers keep rolling him out there because they
know.
paid so much money for him. He's the highest paid reliever in the game, basically. So
Yeah, and then that happens, and I'm not trying to diss the guy, but maybe a different approach. I mean, look, I've seen Yamamoto have bad games, and then he goes back to the lab and tries to figure it all out, and he comes back with a different approach. Maybe that's what he needs to do. I don't know the answer to that, but don't want to leave balls hanging in the middle of a strike zone either.
I mean, unless Tanner Scott has a really great playoffs, which is not looking likely right now, I don't think we're going to see him on the Dodgers next season. I think the Dodgers are going to trade Tanner Scott, and I think there'll be a team that will take him. So I think the Dodgers will be trading Tanner in the offseason. I don't know what you think about that because a lot of money the Dodgers they're not going to want to cut him, right? There's a lot of money, and I still think there's interest around Major League Baseball for Tanner. And the Dodgers are, I think they would trade him for a couple prospects in the offseason. Or do you think they're actually going to roll him out again next year? Especially if come playoff time, he blows a big playoff game, the Dodgers lose a series. I just can't see Tanner coming back.
Not if that happens. But if he, let's say, just kind of stumbles his way in and he gets to be part of a playoff situation and ends up doing good, then I don't think they would trade him. But if something happens, Dodgers don't get to that level and that doesn't happen, or he has a big mistake like you're saying, then I think that's a trade for sure. But
Yeah.
we don't know what the future holds for him and what it holds for postseason if he's on the team or if he doesn't make that cut. Can you imagine that? Is that even a possibility that he wouldn't even be on the team because at that amount of money that you make, like,
yeah, I see that as unlikely.
Woo!
Unlikely that Tanner does not go on the playoff roster.
Yeah.
Because of the money that's owed to him, and also because who are you putting in instead? Who's going in for Tanner if he's not on the playoff roster? I mean, is there somebody else? I mean, they didn't get Joe Kelly. That's done. So I don't know. I mean, I don't. That's another thing. What happened to Joe Kelly? They were saying they were going to try him out. I guess the Dodgers didn't like what they saw because they didn't sign him.
That fizzled quick.
Yeah.
Like there was all that hype, and it was like, oh, is he really going to do it? And then there was no talk about when he, I guess, went and threw for him a second time, and there was nothing on it, so nobody even, yeah.
Well, I guess the Dodgers just probably didn't really like, I mean, obviously the Dodgers didn't want to sign Joe Kelly, and then he's like bad, right? Because it's too late in the season. I mean, this is it. I mean, they're trying to win a World Series here.
Yeah, you're not bringing him in. He hasn't pitched the whole entire season. Like it's just maybe backyard softball with the
Yeah.
bros, with a kegger. You can't bring that guy out there. He's not ready for it. There'd be no reason to bring him up unless he was pitching. You got more?
Yeah,
I
we
see
got
a
a
lot.
comment here from what is it? Brian saying Scott and Yates were trying to figure things out while they were out, but they both look the same since coming back. What do you think about that? Both guys, Kirby didn't look too good either a few days
No,
ago,
he did not.
and
Yeah.
Tanner, of course, hasn't looked good at all. I don't know. Both these guys got paid a lot of money. Kirby Yates is a short-term deal, so we probably won't see him next year. But Tanner is a long-term deal. But yeah, both these guys got paid a lot of money for the Dodgers to just all of a sudden, turn their back on them. And that, we that's what
Yeah.
happens. I mean, in professional sports. I mean, especially the Dodgers, they roll the dice a lot. They go out and sign a lot of guys. They spend a lot of money, and most of the time it's worked for the Dodgers, but it hasn't worked this year when it comes to the bullpen.
No, and the bullpen got a little bit stronger there with the starting pitching. It looked like the bullpen was kind of coming through, and then the Tanner Scott, yeah, we see that, and just the mistakes after that. But I'll tell you one thing that I think the Dodgers did at the right time is put Vesia on an IL. Like put
Yeah,
him on
that's
that
true.
injured list. Get that dude healthy.
Yeah.
That is a guy who's been a workhorse for that team in so many situations throughout the whole entire season. And he is spent. And so when you're getting guys back and you're able to try other guys out, that guy needed to go on the IL. And it wasn't if he was all they had, he wouldn't be on the IL. But because of the guys who came back, that's why they put him on. They knew he needed a rest too as well. So yeah, he's sore, whatever the case may be, however they played it out. Oblique, I think was what it was. But he needed the break, and he needs to come back and be a workhorse. But let him have another 10 games or so off.
Yeah, I think that was a good move for sure from the Dodgers. We got Douglas saying with Scott, it's a Conforto syndrome. We paid a lot of money for him, so we have to play him. I'm sick of Conforto. We need Muncy back. Period. Well, I mean I think that's a good point there by Douglas. I mean, Conforto, Scott, these
Yeah.
were all free agent signings. The Dodgers went out this offseason, got a new team despite winning the World Series. And yeah, I mean, this experiment hasn't worked for the most part because it looks like the Dodgers, are flat out just not as good as last season, right? And it's mainly because of what the front office did with the team in the offseason. I think that has a lot to do with it.
Well, obviously they're suffering from Conforto syndrome.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
That is absolutely hilarious. I didn't know that was a syndrome, but it is. Conforto syndrome is what the Dodgers are suffering from because they send him out there hitting a buck 81 or a buck 83 day in, day out, and it doesn't seem to pay. Occasionally it does. Like
Not enough, though.
occasionally, yeah, occasionally it does. But yeah, would you call that a syndrome? I don't know. Maybe you do call that a syndrome because it seems like he's sending him out again. And then if Conforto has any success against a pitcher that is going to be pitching that day that he's going against, if he's got any success, if he's batting just a little bit over 300, maybe even 275, Roberts is putting him in the game.
Basically. Well, I don't want.
Just on the numbers.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's in. He hits 280 against him. Okay, he's in.
Well, I know next year, 2026 opening day, Conforto won't be wearing a Dodger jersey, so we know that.
Yeah, you can bank on that, right?
Yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing him playing it. We got last week too. We didn't talk about that last weekend or midweek. The Dodgers' schedule came out, right? So they're going to start the season at home against Arizona next year. It doesn't seem like the Dodgers are going overseas next season. So that's going to be the first game for the Dodgers next year.
Well, and I would think that the Dodgers would pave the way for other teams to do that because
Yeah.
the Dodgers have been the ones to go, and I'm sure Major League Baseball wants to kind of spread the love and get other teams to do it too as well.
Yeah, so looking
But
forward
yeah,
already to next year, but got to finish this year first, right? got
yeah.
got to get
And you
through
know what?
this year.
I like Dodgers starting at home because I think they started on the road this last season. It just
No, they
doesn't
started
seem
at home.
right.
Remember, they're at home
Yeah,
against the Tigers this year.
for
Yeah,
any year they ever start, that's
yeah.
what you want to see.
Oh
You
yeah,
want to see them start at home.
no doubt about
Like
that.
starting on a road trip for 8 games or something like that, or 9 games, that just sucks.
Get lunch at Philippe's before you go to Dodger Stadium. It's the best opening
Yeah,
day.
you know how to do it. We have our favorite stops on the way
Hell
to
yeah,
the
man.
stadium
Yeah.
for sure.
we got we got LC saying with Kike back, maybe we will have Kike playing left. What do you think about that? I like that.
He took reps at OKC. He was playing left, not only left. He was playing infield too, but they had him in left, and obviously that's a purposeful move to put him in left field, right? So he took reps out there, so he's ready to go. Made that pretty cool diving catch. Was that yesterday? With the diving catch?
Yeah. That's true. I think Kike playing, this guy is a playoff performer. We got to get him in the lineup somehow. He's missed a lot of games this season, right? He's had the injury
Yeah,
problems, but I think in the playoffs, this guy is the wild card again, right? I think
yeah.
every time he's up bad in the playoffs, you got to watch what he's going to do because this guy has. Look at all the playoff home runs he has. It's crazy.
You know what? He believes in himself at that time of the year. So no matter what, he has triggered some belief system in his head. So he could hit, low twos the whole entire season. But for some reason, he has triggered in his head oh, here we go. September, October, this is when I'm going to start stepping it up. And he goes and does that. He did look a little rusty. What was that play at the plate he got thrown out without even sliding? Was
Yeah.
that 2 games ago?
Yeah.
It was just what the heck? That was how do you make that mistake in Major League Baseball?
Yeah.
So, but, Kike is a spark plug utility man for the team, means so much for the team. And, dude, he has the belief system that when it comes to September and October, he hits.
For
And
sure.
that's what he's going to do.
We got Brian saying about Michael Kopech, who's back on the roster today. I think the Dodgers have to be happy with that. What do you think about Michael Kopech, right? Looks like hopefully going to make an impact soon for the Dodgers.
Bro, anytime you get somebody back that can get in that bullpen, to just give the rest of the guys a break, get your Alex Messiers out of there, get people off time, and put someone else in there was so important to the team before. I think it's awesome to get any more pieces of the puzzle. Getting them back is key to the Dodgers bullpen success down to finish it off the 25 games.
Yeah, because Kopech was so good for the Dodgers last year. The Dodgers got him in a trade with the White Sox.
Yeah.
He was super important for the Dodgers. I remember at the time when the Dodgers got him, the numbers weren't very good with Chicago. But with the Dodgers, he was somebody else, right? And he was great, stayed healthy. And this year, has had a lot of injuries. They used them a lot last year, too. That's probably another reason why he hasn't really been 100% this year. But this year, hopefully, he can get some energy the last month of the season. And, of course, playoffs, we got to hope the Dodgers have a deep run. Because even with all the problems the Dodgers have, I think the fan base, and we've talked about this before, you have to still feel confident the Dodgers can put something together and go deep again. Because you have to. They're the World Series champions. You have to still believe that this team could do it.
Well, you know what Vegas says, right?
What does Vegas say?
That they're still favored as World Series champions again.
Yeah.
So it's the money is still on the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And every time you see a matchup, no matter how much another team tries to play the matchup or this or that, or Major League Baseball tries to play the matchup, you still go look at the line every single time. Dodgers are favored, whether at home, on the road, to win the World Series. So there's got to be some sort of truth to that and what they can do. But we talk about it. Look, you got starting pitching right now. So you really got to talk about that. You got starting pitching that is getting you 6 to 7 innings pretty much, getting a lot of strikeouts, and it's working. You're getting guys back in the bullpen that are filling back in, giving other guys rest. So now the only thing missing from the equation is to get the bats going with guys that are, that are all-stars, that need to hit like they're all-stars. Like Will Smith hit on the second pitch to the walk-off home run. That's the stuff that needs to happen now and gel at the exact same time because You got your starting pitching. There's one. Pitching wins championships. Everybody knows that. It's been said forever, right? Pitching wins championships. Dodgers have a lot of it, and they got guys back at the right time for the bullpen. That's going to help that. Couple of hiccups here and there. Tanner Scott hiccup. Those need to stop. That need to not happen. Maybe he's not the ninth inning guy. Maybe he's a setup eighth guy. Maybe you got to figure out something else for him. But yeah, you're right. He would be on the playoff roster no matter what.
Yeah, pitching wins championships. The Dodgers won the World Series last year because of the bullpen. The Dodgers bullpen carried them in the biggest moments. They got them out of an elimination game against San Diego. So that's going to happen. That's going to have to happen again this year with the pitching. Hopefully not the bullpen. Hopefully the starting pitching is excellent, and the bullpen is not even needed as much. So yeah, that's what the Dodgers are going to need again. And of course they're going to need runs. And there's still a lot of games to go in the regular season. And I think if the Dodgers, get into the top 2 spots, they're going to really be in a good position to go again to the World Series, right? I mean, I just can't. I mean, think about it. They're number 2 in the National League, and they have home field in the NLDS. And then, of course, that's important right there. Having home field in the NLDS is going to give the Dodgers a big opportunity to get to the NLCS. And then, of course, anything can happen after that. But finishing number 2 is super important, I think, for the Dodgers.
Yeah, and 100%. And that needs to be the tackle in the game plan now. Like, this is the chance with the 25 games left. Like, you want to get to that spot. Like, you're just behind Philly right now. You could get to that spot.
Yeah.
But you've got to win. You've got to do, 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10, at least something to move the marker in your favor to get to that number 2 spot, which you're talking about.
Yeah, because if the Dodgers go into a losing streak in the next couple of weeks, and they go into that series against the Phillies, 5-6 back, I mean, the series might not mean much, right? I mean, that's the problem, right? The Dodgers got to make it closer, by then. That way, kind of close like the way it is now, right? It's got to be close for that series. That way, those games mean so much at Dodger Stadium, and they could win the season series. They still got a chance to win the tiebreaker against Philadelphia, right? Because right now, Philadelphia is 2-1 against LA. So if the Dodgers win those 3 games, they're gonna have the tiebreaker too over Philly, and that's going to be important as well.
Boy, that's a tough ask, right? To sweep them, yeah, especially the way that they've been playing. So, but yeah, I mean, that number 2 seed, the sooner you can get to it, the better. So 25 games, you better get cracking on it. That's what the Dodgers need to do and start things out. Don't stumble out of the blocks, because the first stumble could lead to 2 stumbles.
Yeah.
Right. And we saw that in the last matchup against Arizona. Stumbled, just blew it out of the gates on that series and went back and did it again.
Yeah, because if the Dodgers finish number 3, they're going to play Philadelphia in the NLDS if they make it, and Philly's going to have home field. And I think that's, I mean, come on. If Philly has home field in the NLDS against the Dodgers, I mean, you got to feel a bit worried about that series. I mean, it's not impossible, but Philadelphia is a really loud place to play at in the playoffs. It's super loud.
Yeah. They wouldn't like you there. Don't be wearing the Dodgers stuff there. They'll get you over there. The Philly fans are not nice fans.
No, yeah, probably not. No.
They riot if they win.
Yeah.
And they riot if they lose.
Yeah, I mean, look at what Tommy Lasorda had to do with Philly the Fanatic. I mean, basically had to.
He beat the crap out of him. What happened? Here's what Grizz Monster says. Dodgers won because the Yankees played abysmal defense. Our problems are spread across the whole team: defensive, offense, and runners in scoring position, bullpen overuse, and mismanagement.
It's crazy. Yeah, I mean that's a good point. I mean the defense from the Yankees was pretty bad. It was awful.
Yeah, but he's right. Runners in scoring position needs to change for the Dodgers.
Yeah,
that is a really good point. That's the one thing that you could count on with the Dodgers last year, more so than you've ever been able to count on this year.
Yeah, I think that's a good point there for Grizz. I mean the Dodgers have to get a lot of things working again. If they're going to want to have a chance to, I think even get to the number 2 spot. I mean, I think this year, if they don't play better in the next few weeks, they're going to finish number 3. Because I think the Dodgers are going to win the division, right? I mean, I think San Diego just doesn't have it this year. They're worse this year than last year. And I think the division, even though it's a 2-game lead, I feel confident the Dodgers, with the tiebreaker as well, are going to get the NL West, right? I think everybody's got to feel good about that. But getting the number 2 seed, that's the big question. Because the Dodgers are just not playing consistent right now. I mean, they've been losing way too many series. They lost the series against Arizona, who are not very good this year.
Yeah, well, it's about ripping off wins, and so you know as well as I know, if the Dodgers were able to put it together right now and just just get in there and get like 3 solid wins and maybe even a chance to sweep Pirates, right? And just to really play and fire in all cylinders and get the starting pitching needs to try to go 7 too. Like bringing the starting pitcher out in 5, that doesn't help the bullpen a lot. So the more Dodgers can get 6th and 7th inning with their starters, key. But the Dodgers if they could win like 4 in a row, 5 in a row, or go 8 wins out of 10, they're well on their way to taking care of business and be that number 2 seed.
And of course, like Grizz is saying about what is it? I think he's talking about Zach Wheeler, who went, of course, on the IL, right? That's of course a big loss for sure for the Phillies, but they still got that lineup is still pretty dangerous, right? I mean, it's still a lot of guys that could cause damage. I mean, they're pitching. The Phillies pitching, as we know, is suspect, right? I mean, I think it's always been the last couple years. Yeah. That's why they haven't won the World Series, but offensively, this team's got so many guys that can score runs. I mean, think about it. They have from top, Kyle Schwarber and Trey Turner and Bryce Harper. I mean, all these guys are a lot of home runs here.
Yeah, and now so the Phillies, that's obviously the reason why they went and picked Walker, right?
Yeah,
because of that, they needed another starter to go in there, and who? I mean. Could this be Walker shows up and just actually pitches great at the end of the season and postseason?
He could.
Boston just like, what the heck were we doing? Like,
yeah.
How come we couldn't get that out of him?
Yeah, it could happen. I mean, it's hard to pitch at Fenway Park. I mean, that's not a good place for a pitcher. So Philadelphia is not a good place either. It's a hitter's park as well. So it's going to be a challenge for Walker. I think Philadelphia, they got to score runs, right? I mean, if they play the Dodgers. And they jump on them early, that's how they're going to beat them. They got to score runs because the Dodgers are going to get runs against Philly because they just don't have the pitching. The Dodgers have better pitching than Philadelphia, right? I mean, that's they have better 100%. Pitching. They have better pitching than Philly.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's going to come down to it. I mean, this is it. Like I said, you got to do the winning now, though. And they need to change their record because having a good record against the good teams – when you only have 3 games against a good team out of the next 25, that doesn't help when you have a crappy record against the sub 500 teams like they have right now. So they need to change that momentum and come to play every game, not just play down to the people they're going against. It's like, and you just see this, and you see like Arizona celebrating like this. They just won the World Series. Like you beat the Dodgers, okay, you got that. But that's my whole thing is just the crappy record teams, sub 500s, Dodgers have got to convert. That's why it's so important with this whole Pittsburgh one. At least, very least, get 2 of 3, and don't start with the big L to start it off because that could, like I said, could give you 2 L's real quick, like we saw in Arizona.
Don't you think the Dodgers are kind of looking like a team right now that just doesn't seem to be as motivated sometimes when they play these lower teams? That's what it's looking like to me.
Yeah, like lollygagging around. That's what my dad would have said.
Yeah.
Oh, you're just lollygagging around. And it seems like sometimes when you see some of the outfield plays, like if love Teo, but sometimes you don't know if is he slacking? Is he what's he doing out there? Like, did he forget? Maybe he could have caught that early. I don't know. You could go and be armchair quarterback all the time. They're never going to do everything you want them to, but sometimes you scratch your head going. And just like, the whole Conforto syndrome, sending Conforto out, although Dave's been not sending him out as much as of recent, he's been changing that up a lot more.
You have to, because Conforto's not getting the job done. But yeah, the Dodgers got to be motivated to win against any team, although it is tough. because I think, the Dodgers won the World Series last year, and no matter how much people say, I think that takes a lot of pressure off the team. Not the same amount of pressure they had last season. So, I mean, this year, it's still going to look bad not winning 100 games, and an early playoff round exit would be bad again because of all the I think the rest of Major League Baseball, that's what they want, right? I think everybody wants the Dodgers to lose because they hate the Dodgers, right? I mean, around baseball, this is the team everybody hates, basically. That's the way I see it. The Dodgers are the most hated team in baseball.
Yeah, and those are the people who say they shouldn't even be able to get what they get, sign who they sign. They shouldn't be able to get away with any of that stuff. They shouldn't be able to get away with that stuff.
Yeah.
It's not fair to the other teams. And look at it now. Teams are doing fine. Brewers are crushing it. Phillies ahead of the Dodgers too as well. It's not just the Dodgers in it. It wasn't predetermined at the start of the year when Dodgers started picking up guys.
Yeah. That's totally goes against what everybody thought of the season, and that's why I think the Dodgers not winning. If they don't get to the NLDS or if they lose in the NLDS, it would be a failure of a season, right? I mean, I think
massive.
It would be a huge failure,
and it would be not just that; that would be catastrophic.
Yeah,
and the reason that would be because also you have no excuse. There's no hole to go hide in.
Well, they'll have them. They'll have them. I'm sure they'll have them.
Yeah, but I'm saying if they got knocked out with the starting pitching that they have, the return of all the guys coming back to the bullpen, some of the best offensive players in the game, right? And you still manage to get knocked out, that needs to be under a microscope big time. Because that's why it's even worse. It's one thing if you blame like, hey, man, we had no pitching going into it.
Yeah.
Like last year, no starting pitching. Bullpen games left and right, whatever they could to scrap through it. It's one thing if you go through that, but if you have everything and you don't compete and you don't pull it off, that's just sad right there. And you need to put it under a microscope. Why did that happen?
Well, it would be under a microscope, and I think the Dodgers would make changes because the Dodgers are not a team that's like, oh, we'll just run it back next year. We're going to see a lot of changes if that happens, right? Because think about it, we saw changes after a World Series winning year. I can't imagine the kind of changes we'll see if the Dodgers don't win the World Series, right? I mean, we have to start talking about that too. The Dodgers don't win the World Series this year. We're going to see a lot of moves in the offseason because the Dodgers made a lot of moves last year. So you could best bet they're going to do more this offseason, right? I mean, that's what's going to happen. I mean, and I don't know what fans think about that out there because I know a lot of fans right now are they're not as confident as they were a few months ago, right? I mean, we all see it. A lot less people are watching sometimes because they're not as confident with the Dodgers. But I think you have to still be. But that's a good point right there. The Dodgers make a lot of changes in the offseason if they don't win the World Series.
Oh, they have to. And how much criticizing they would take for not being able to. I mean, when you're like the best media markets, you know, New York and LA are the top media markets in all of baseball. If you're in that media frenzy and the amount of criticizing you would get by not going on, the pressure to make moves and everybody be, they didn't do this, they didn't sign this guy, they kept this. I mean, people would lose it 100%.
So you think the pressure is on the Dodgers right now then? You think they do have a lot of pressure then? Like right now, they're feeling pressure right now as we speak.
There's so much pressure on them to deliver another championship for the team that they have assembled and the money they have deferred, the money they have spent, the guys that went out and got. It would be. But
it doesn't seem like that at times. Yeah. I mean, sometimes this team doesn't look like they're under a lot of pressure. I mean, the way, because I've seen the Dodgers, they've lost series, they've gotten swept, and with the comments we've seen, it doesn't seem like the Dodgers are, I mean, maybe internally there's a lot of pressure going on, but I mean, I don't know, sometimes it doesn't look that way, right? But I mean, that's still yet to be seen.
That's what, I mean, Craig Osterberg says motivation is a big problem with this team. Do you agree with that? That motivation is a big problem with the team?
Yeah, I think that starts from the top, though, right? Front office, coaching, they got to motivate these players, right? I mean, the players don't motivate themselves, especially not in modern sports. I think that's something that people have to realize, that these guys make a lot of money. If nobody's out there talking to them, they're not going to motivate themselves. They're just not. I don't see it that way in any professional sport in 2025.
Well, I'll tell you what, boy, do we need to channel our inner Tommy Lasorda at this point right now.
Yeah.
Because he's the guy that could get any team pumped up for what they had to do. And he proved it. He was a motivator. Look, I'm not a hater on Dave Roberts, but I wish he could do a little bit more of that little motivation style that Tommy Lasorda used to do.
Well, we don't see that from Dave Roberts. We don't see that. That's not at all what Dave Roberts does, and that's what frustrates.
That's not his style.
It's not his style. It frustrates fans, and I think it also frustrates some of the players. Right? They're publicly not going to say it, but I do think some of these guys on the team do get frustrated with the way the Dodgers are run sometimes with Dave Roberts. Right? Because some of these guys are like, think of Clayton Kershaw. This guy is a competitor. He wants to win so bad. And this, like, for Clayton Kershaw, this is a big year for him, right? Because last year he missed the whole playoff run, and he wants to be a part of a team that wins the World Series in a regular format, right? So this is a big year for Clayton Kershaw. So we've seen him this year in games that they have lost. He's been really heated in the dugout. So Kershaw is one of those guys that wants to win so bad, and sometimes I feel like he does get frustrated with the way the Dodgers are internally.
He does. And you see the reaction on the field if someone doesn't make a play behind Kersh. Like, there's going to be heck to pay on that one. You're going to be in trouble. You're supposed to make plays. Like, hey, Brian Tetchy says Magic Johnson's a great champion, and he's part of the whole Dodgers program. He could motivate these guys.
I would say so.
Maybe it's a Magic talk, Get everyone around, and Magic could, he could break down the 87, 88 back-to-back world championships for him.
Yeah.
So that's what the Dodgers are trying to do, back-to-back. This is the time to do it. There we go. We just came up with that.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea as well. The Dodgers have so many, players. I just think the Dodgers have a lot of stars on this team. It's hard to get a team of stars to win. I think that's not talked about enough with the Dodgers. They got so many stars, and there's a lot of, we don't know exactly how this team gets along with everybody that's in there. And we've seen it in all sports. When you have so many stars, it doesn't always work. And that's something that we have to keep an eye on as well. And in the future, I'm sure this will be talked about more.
Yeah, true. Look, Grizz fires this one off. Tommy used to rip players regularly. He wasn't quiet about poor play. Dave tries to keep it quiet.
Yeah,
that's
very
a good
quiet.
Point, because he does do that. But like when Ohtani made a base running blunder that he went to steal third or whatever that was, he did that on his own. And Roberts did say something, not super critical, but he did say something. If you push him enough, he'll say something critical.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tommy wasn't. Yeah, you didn't mess with Tommy.
Well, it's because Dave Roberts is a player's manager. That's the way it rolls with him, and that's basically Tommy Lasorda. I don't know if he was a player's manager. I think he had a lot more. He basically told you if you weren't playing good. I think Dave Roberts is not that kind of guy. He's just not. He's just not that kind of manager. He's more of a modern day baseball manager. That I don't know if it works all the time because the Dodgers. They could have definitely won more World Series titles under Dave Roberts. And they've only been able to get 2. That's where you have to kind of blame Roberts, I think, in that sense.
Ooh, yeah, should be 4, shouldn't it? Right?
Yeah, there's been a couple. Think about that series that they didn't win against Washington. No excuse right there against a wild card team. That was a totally mismanaged series by Dave Roberts, and somehow he stuck around, but. That you got to think about that one. Yeah.
Yep. There's either the camp that you either like the guy or you're just not happy with him, and we see both sides of the fence on that one.
Well, we're coming to an end here on the live stream. I want to thank everybody who tuned in. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to share it. Make sure to subscribe if you're seeing this for the first time. But I don't know if you got anything else, Brad, before you take us away.
No, just be positive. 25 games left of the season for the Dodgers, 7 versus the Giants. We need to beat the hated Giants. That could really help the record right there. 3 against the Phillies. Need to take care of business there. You just you got to go through the day and you just got to think Dodger blue, and let's go Dodgers.
Let's go Dodgers. Thanks for watching, everybody.